going to do our zipper panel. So this is block number 4, a centered zipper. You need this is a 12 centimeter zipper. We're going to need some fabric that matches your design. I'm going to use the same fabric for both sides of my project today, so I'm not going to do a different contrast on each side. We're going to insert a centered zipper. The panel needs to be 8.5 centimeters by 8.5 inches by 6 inches. So what I'm going to do is cut out the 6 inches first, and then I'm going to cut the 8.5. So there's my 6-inch cut. Just didn't quite cut all the way through. These wheels have had a bit of a workout just lately, so they're not as sharp as they could be. But cut that out. Now you need 2 pieces the same as this. We just need to cut that down to 8.5. So this is 6 inches by 8.5 inches. We need another piece exactly the same as that. Alright, so I've cut the second piece. I just placed the first piece on top of my fabric and I just cut around it. So now I have 2 pieces the same size, and we are going to center my zipper here, like right in the middle. So we need to give these an iron so they're nice and flat, and then we'll do the next step. So we have our 2 pieces of fabric, we have our 12 centimeter zipper, and we're going to center it. It's going to go right in the middle here. So we need to make sure that we have it centered. So you can measure the length of this. I like to use centimeters for this, so 21.5. So we're going to be looking at 22, that'd be about 11 centimeters. Okay, so we're looking at about 11 centimeters as our middle point, and we want to have the same amount of distance here, which is about 3 centimeters and about 3 centimeters. What we're going to do is we're going to actually join these 2 pieces together first. So we're going to put right sides together, even on top of each other, and we're going to sew the first 3 centimeters regular stitch, and then we're going to change the stitch on the machine, and then we're going to sew a longer stitch, and then we're going to sew the shorter stitch here. So I know that sounds a little confusing, but I promise you it is not. So we are going to put a pin here at 3 centimeters. And we're going to come down here and do another pin at 3 centimeters. Up to this point, we're going to do a regular stitch and a longer stitch and then a regular stitch. So I'll show you how to do that. So up here on our machine, okay, this window here, or this particular measurement, can be changed by pressing up and down. This is our stitch length. Normally, your average stitch, the one that you're using for a seam, is this stitch. It's 2.5. You can take it up to 5, which is 5 millimeters. So 5 millimeters or 2.5 millimeters. That's the stitch we're going to do in the middle. So we're going to do 2.5 millimeters, and then we'll take it up to the 5 millimeters once we've done our first 3 centimeters. And then we're going to take it back after that to this for the last 3 centimeters. So I will show you what we're doing. We'll come back here. So we're going to sew 1.5 centimeters in. So can you see here that this line there is 1.5 centimeters? It's 5/8 of an inch, which is this first line here. This is an inch here, and that number 1, but 5/8 of an inch or 1.5 centimeters is this first line. And you need to have your stitch on number 1, right? And we're going to make sure that we've put the reversing So remember to press this little button here so you get the reversing symbol on there so that your machine will reverse at the start and the end for you. So I'm just going to reposition my camera so you can see what we're doing. And we're going to sew. Okay, so we're going to put our needle in. And we're going to sew the 2.5 centimeters. The machine will automatically reverse for me because I pressed that button. And once we get to this pin, I'm going to pull it out. Got another couple steps. And I'm going to reverse again. Okay, because that's going to give us a nice strong thread. Then we're going to change the stitch up here. So 1, 2, up to 5. And we're going to keep sewing. So now it's going to be a longer stitch. It's going to reverse for us at the start, but it's going to be a longer stitch. And we're going to go all the way to the other pin doing that longer stitch. And we're going to stop. Now we're going to change back. I'm not going to take the camera up there this time. I'm just going to change back to 2.5. Okay, I'm going to reverse. And then I'm going to go to the end. You reversed again for me. All the way to the end, and we're going to hit reverse again. Right, so we've got to the end of our stitching. Raise our needle and cut off our threads. Oops, sorry about that. And we take that pin out. You can actually sew over the top of those pins. That's not a problem. But you can see that we have this nice small stitch here and a small stitch here, and we have a longer stitch here because eventually we're going to unpick that. And if you make a longer stitch, it's a whole lot easier to unpick. Now we're going to go over to the iron. We're at the ironing board and we are going to, just going to remove that thread. Okay. I'm going to open out our seam like this. So it's nice and flat. Then we give it an iron. Make it nice and even and flat. Flip it over, iron on this side, make sure we have a nice even, I almost pattern matched that one, it's a bit exciting. Alright, so we are going to go back to our sewing machine and we're going to put our zipper here. Alright, we're back over at the sewing machine. So I have my piece that has been ironed, nice and flat, and we're going to put our zipper face down. So we're going to put it upside down and we're going to make sure that we have our 3 centimeters at each end. Where's my end of my, there it is, there's my tape measure. Okay, so 3 centimeters, I'm going to move that down a tiny bit, and 3 centimeters. So we're going to pin this in place. We need to put the teeth, these are the teeth of the zipper, on top of that seam, right on top of it. And then we are going to pin it in place. I'm just going to put the pins across like this so it doesn't move too much. To my pin down here as well. Now what we're going to do is we're going to sew down here, across and back up. We are going to start here. We're not going to start up here. This is going to get in the way. So we're going to start up here, then we go down, around, back up to here, and then we're going to stop and we're going to unzip it and we're going to do the top part. So I'll show you the first part. First thing we have to do though is we have to change our foot. This is a zipper foot. We need to change our J foot to our I foot by pressing the black button at the back. Remember, we put our J foot in the front so we don't lose it. And then we put this side, the I side, needs to go onto our machine. So we're just going to click the I side. You can move it to both sides and you need to change your stitch number to 3 so that the needle moves over so it's in line with the top, with that hole there. okay? Oops. Make sure that your cotton is out the back, and we are going to stitch this. So we're going to bring our zipper foot and we're going to sit it right on top. The edge of the zipper foot is going to sit near this opening. See that little line right down the middle? That's where the edge of your zipper foot is going to be. We're going to put our needle in and we're going to keep the edge of the zipper foot right in that center line. We're going to get to here and we're going to come around like that. We're going to say, remember, it will reverse. All the way down. I'm actually going to go around the end of the zip like this. So we don't want to sew these little metal bits because that will hurt. Take your pin out. You can sew over the pins that are sideways. Okay, turning around the corner. And once again, we need to make sure. Oops, something's going wrong. Can you hear that funny noise it's making? Let's see what's going on. So I'm going to lift up my needle. I'm going to check and see what's happening. So something has gone a bit astray. So I'm just going to clip my threads and I'm going to go and I'm just going to check and make sure that everything is right. It does look okay. I'm not sure why it was making that noise, but we'll keep going. We're just going to put it back in, line it up just a little bit before I stopped, put my needle in, and hopefully it will keep going. That is a weird sound. It should not be making that sound. I will check. I'll be back. Right, I think my needle had come a tiny bit loose and I had to tighten it back up. So hopefully now it will work fine. Alright, so it's doing okay. So I've lined back up, so I'm in the middle of this. You can just sew straight over the top of that pin because it's sideways. And we're just going to come up to about here. Alright, now we're going to reverse. Take that pin out. As you can see, we've got most of the zipper attached. We'll take those pins out. And on this side, just do some snips. I can take it off. On this side, we have this nice channel. We have to now just carefully unzip the zipper a little bit. You just push it down inside itself. So we're just going to push the zipper down there beyond that stitching. And we're going to stitch that bit down. We could even unpick some of this. We will do that. So to be able to unpick, to finish off the zipper, we just need to unpick these threads in the middle here. So we're just going to use our seam ripper to come along and rip out those threads that we put in that were longer. So these are those longer threads that we put in, and this is a centered zip, so if you need to put a zip in a side seam, this is really good for bags and stuff like that. Now we can unzip our zipper a bit. We can expose our zipper and we can unzip that so that we can now turn over and do this last little bit. So we're just going to use our pin again in like this so it sits nice and flat. We're going to come back and sew down here. So I'm just going to pop my needle in. And you see I've got it on the same line, and we're just going to sew just on the other side of those metal bits. We're going to sew down to that row of stitching and reverse. Lift up, pull out, just pull out, there we go. Now remember, always snip. So use your snips to do these little bits here. Get them out of the way. Wow, lots of thread on this one. Snip off the excess thread so it's not in the way. I'm going to snips are not behaving very well. Alright, there we go. There's lots of snipping. I don't like excess threads, so pull them off, get them out of the way. Right, so we have that side done. And we just need to come round and do the other side. You just need to turn it around. Start just at the start of that thread there. Ah, no, my needle came unthreaded just then. I've got to pull it back through. Every now and then that happens. I press the needle up button and it unthreaded. Oop. There we go, we're back. So we're just gonna rethread the needle and finish off this row. Doing sewing with the camera in the way can have its issues. Right, so it'll reverse here at the start, and then we're just going to sew down just till you come level with that metal bit, and then you're going to reverse. So the metal pieces are the stops for your zipper. So we're just going to snip those bits off. Snip. Just get rid of any messy bits that you might have. So there's a few messy bits just there. I don't like messy bits, but you should have a nice smooth pick unpick to just get rid of that piece there. There we go, out of the way. So what we've got is this nice, you need to just get rid of all the little fluffy bits that we've pulled out, but you have your zipper, and you can just finish unpicking this last little bit here all the way down, pull out the threads, and there you have your zipper inserted. Another thing that you can do, so this should tuck in quite nicely into there so you don't really see it. You can take out that pin. You can actually sew down the sides here. So you can leave that zipper foot on, and we're just going to sew down these sections here just so that you have this nice even look, and that will fix up your flaps. So you're going to do that, reverse. Needle up and snip, and just go around and sew down those little extra bits at the ends. I'll show you what it looks like when it's finished. Here we have our final product. We have our inserted zipper. Okay, remember you've got to take off all these little threads here that just need to be pulled out because we've unpicked. It'll be easier because you don't have my claws. But you're just going to do just a couple of extra lines each side, just so it all sits nice and flat, and these little pieces here aren't going to get in the way of your zipper. Okay, so that is your centered zip. Up, and you're ready to go.